بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Dear friends, welcome to Idea Foundation Forum. In today's lecture 233, we will discuss creation of universe in 6 days and relativity of time. It's the fourth issue of the Qur'an and modern sciences, and it is related to astrophysics. Over the centuries, science has been giving several theories on the creation of the universe. Most of them proved to be short-lived and were replaced with new ones. Several of them had been even accredited for Nobel Prizes in their respective times. Believing them, the final verdict. I am repeating, believing them, the final verdict. Thus, like several previous notions on the creation of the universe and life, the Big Bang cosmology too may not hold its credibility for long due to emerging challenges due to its weak assumptions. Unfortunately, science, besides such weaknesses, limits its vision to observation and intellect only. Captive to such limitations, science is yet struggling for life in the incubator of mysterious universe. On the other hand, the Qur'an, besides its strong emphasis on the value of observation and intellect, greatly emphasizes on significance of the divine guidance in understanding the mysteries of the universe. Among such mysteries is the Quranic information that the universe was created in 6 days. Since 6 days reflect 6 periods or phases, each of them having different time scale with respect to earthly time due to changing time zones. Such revelations provide guiding vision to science for its theories of instant emergence of the universe, its explosive expansion, and relativity of time. Had the scientific mind been groomed with Qur'an's guiding vision, it would have reached to much more credible conclusions with much less labor and time. Let us see now how the Quranic concept that the universe was created in 6 days relates to the cosmic expansion and relativity of time. So, dear friends, 7 Quranic verses regarding creation of the universe in 6 days have been shown on the screen. Please have a look on it. Likewise, there are several verses in the Quran indicating relativity of time with reference to cosmic zones. 4 of them are shown on the screen. For the ease of discussion on these verses with reference to creation of the universe in 6 days and relativity of time, 2 other important verses from Surah Fussilat are presented which indicate stages of evolution of the universe generally considered by science. The 4th, 5th and 6th stages named as dark ages, development of galaxies, and creation of the earthly heaven and its planets. On the standard cosmological model, please have a look on the screen. Stage when the whole universe was filled with smoke starts from the dark ages till the galaxies started taking shape, which means the fifth stage on the standard cosmological model we just saw on the screen. This stage of smoky universe emerged when earlier 4 days out of the 6 days had passed as per Qur'anic time frame. Mind it. Now the verses that we will quote reveal the emerging of universe from dark ages when there was smoke or gases all around, everywhere. Next evolution of the universe takes place in 2 stages or periods named as 2 days, referring to time scale relative to this point of evolution. By this sequence, creation of the galaxies and stars take place in the 5th stage, the 5th day in the Quranic language. And accordingly, creation of solar system, the earth and earthly atmosphere takes place in between the 5th and 6th stages or the 2 Quranic days mentioned for creation of the earthly heaven in Surah Fussilat. As per Quranic description, stages 5th and 6th were completed in 2 days, which makes to believe that a day, one day, represents a period or an evolutionary stage or a phase of the creation or a cosmic zone, cosmic zones. Thus, the 6 days may refer to 6 zones or periods or phases of evolution of the universe. Despite the said encouraging similarities, linkages of days with the stages or evolutionary cosmic zones or phases must not be considered definite, as the formation of evolutionary stages by science itself is not based on much credible data. However, such similarities invite the scientific mind to appreciate great cosmic information that the Quran revealed in an age when intellectual level of the people was so much primitive that usage of the present day scientific terminology was not feasible and not appropriate. So, let us now focus on the revealing words of Ayat 11-12 of Surah Fussilat. I am translating. Then he directed himself, Allah directed himself to the heaven while it was smoke. Just imagine, while it was smoke, and said to it, and said to the heaven and to the earth, come into being willingly or by compulsion. They said, we have come willingly. And he completed them as 7 heavens within 2 days, and inspired in each heaven its command. And we adorned, this is part of the verse 12, and we adorned the worldly heaven, as-sama'u dunya, and we adorned the worldly heaven with lamps, stars, 200 billion stars in the galaxy, and protection. What is protection? Atmospheric shield. That is the determination of the exalted in mind, the knowing Allah. Note the important points emerging from this Quranic information. I will present 6 points. Number 1, ayat refer to the evolutionary stages. When 4 stages had passed as per standard cosmological model we just saw. Which were the stages which had passed? Number 1, outburst from quantum singularity. Number 2, inflation, rapid expansion, explosive inflation, increase. The third, afterglow, light pattern. And 4 was the dark ages, which is called smoke in the Qur'an. These 4 stages had passed, so 4 Quranic days had already been passed. 4 stages in the science, according to science, and 4 days according to Qur'an. Number 2, leaving the complexities of time frame aside, note the compatibility of the two informations regarding sequencing of the evolutionary stages. Number 3, the Quran refers to the stage of smoky universe when there was smoke everywhere, when 4 stages as per science had already passed. The Quran reveals that creation of galaxies and stars began in the 5th and 6th days, while science refers it as the 5th stage. Number 4, the Quran says the earthly heaven and stars, or in modern terminology, the Milky Way galaxy, family of more than 200 billion stars and solar system, was created in the later 2 days. According to standard cosmological model, creation of the galaxies and stars took place in the 5th stage. Creation of solar system took place even later. Latest information tells creation of solar system about 9 billion years after the Big Bang, making it about 4.8 billion years old. Thus, information of science on this sequence is not only compatible with the Quranic information, but it also establishes divinity of this information. It means recognition of the fact that the Quran is a revealed book, and the mention of 6 days refers to evolutionary process of creation of the universe comprising of six stages or phases before it took the present shape. 5. Science recently found that the earth was initially part of the heaven or solar mass, and it got detached as a separate entity at some later stage to become the abode, residence of living creatures. This fact has been clearly mentioned in Ayat 30 of Surah Al-Anbiya in the words. Just listen and understand the divinity of the Quran. Have those who disbelieved, it's a question, have those who disbelieved not considered that the heavens and the earth were a joint entity, one entity, and we separated them, detached them, and made from water every living thing, then will they not believe? It's a question. Number 6. This Quranic verse moved Alfred Kruner, professor of geosciences, University of Mainz, Germany, to say, I think it is almost impossible that he, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, could have known about things like the common origin of the universe, because scientists have only found out within the last few years with very complicated and advanced technological methods that this is the case. Somebody who didn't know something about nuclear physics 1400 years ago could not be in a position to find out from his own mind, for instance, that the earth and the heavens had the same origin, or many other of the questions that we have discussed here. In fact, he is confirming that Quran is the divine book, divine message sent by Allah. So, dear friends, science has recently discovered that the universe emerged as a quantum singularity about 13.8 billion years ago. Some sources quote it around 15 billion, some 16 billion years as well. This estimation is based on observations of the cosmic microwave background, which contains afterglow of light and radiation left over from the Big Bang. Such estimation, these are estimations, such estimation lacks consensus among astronomers due to gravitational wave associated with the cosmic microwave background, as mentioned by Charles Q. Choi and Elsa Horvey in their paper titled Our Expanding Universe. As per generally held view, explosive expansion by about 90 times, the stage called inflation took place in 1/100th of a billionth of a trillionth fraction of a second. You may call it instant. This insignificant fraction of a second of inflation phase is worked out for about 7 billion years of earthly time. As per NASA's findings, the universe kept expanding even after the stage of inflation, but at increasingly lowering rates. This expansionary trend also kept the universe cooling and matter was formed. Within a few seconds after the Big Bang, the universe was filled with neutrons, protons, electrons, anti-electrons, photons, and neutrinos. Within the next 3 minutes, temperature cooled down billions times that led protons and neutrons collide to make deuterium, isotope of hydrogen, which further combined to make helium and lithium. Despite these developments, the universe remained too hot to let light shine for a long time. Rather, the high temperature smashed atoms together with enough force, turning them into a dense plasma or thick soup of protons, neutrons, and electrons scattered like fog in the space. The Quran mentions this stage a smoky universe, dark age, full of fog, and Quran says a smoke all around, or a smoky universe. After about 500 million years of this phase, clumps of gas collapsed enough to form stars and galaxies. This is after the dark age or the smoky age. Solar system came into existence about 9 billion years after the Big Bang. With every passing phase, rate of expansion of the universe kept on declining, which means if the first minute of the initial phase was equivalent to billions of years of the earthly time, the minute of the solar creation phase may be only thousands of years, or even less in view of relativity of time criteria. Just imagine. These are the revelations of the divine book, the Qur'an. Some researchers have equated 13.8 billion years of universe age with Qur'anic 6 days. Speed of universal time at the earliest moments of expansion was million into million times higher than the speed of time we experience today. In other words, a million into million minutes on the earth observed today were equivalent to just 1 minute of universal time then. Following this criteria, if a 6-day period of time is calculated according to the relativity of time, it equates to 6 million into million or 6 trillion days. 6 trillion days. That is because universal time flows a million into million times faster than time on the earth. Calculated in terms of years, 6 trillion days equates to 16.427 billion years. It means 6 trillion days divided by 365.25 days. As per scientific data, speed of the passage of time declines much exceedingly with the advancement of expansionary stages. Then suppose if size of the universe has doubled since the Big Bang, the speed of passing time should have reduced much more than half. It means at later stage of expansion, speed of universal time has been kept decreasing from initial speed of a million into million times. If the creation of the universe in 6 days is adjusted with declining rate of speed, universe age calculated for 6 days may equate 14 to 15 billion years, the age proposed by science. Such estimation should only be appreciated as a simple academic exercise for the reason that the conclusion drawn is not much credible, as the cosmological data on which it is based itself hangs on various assumptions and perceptions that historically keep on changing with human intellectual evolution. However, the relativity of time is a tested theory, as it was initiated by Newton in 1687, applied to astrophysics by Albert Einstein in 1915, and since then it stands to scientific scrutiny. It has not been much challenged. Whereas the concept of relativity of time was revealed in the Qur'an about 1500 years ago. In this context, let us look on the Quranic verses referred in the beginning of our talk. Ayat 47 of Surah Al-Hajj says, "And they urge you to hasten the punishment." They, unbelievers, disbelievers. And they urge you to hasten the punishment. Why punishment doesn't come earlier? But Allah will never fail in His promise. It means punishment will come to them. Day of judgment will come. The ayat further says, "And indeed, a day with your Lord, a day with your Lord is like 1,000 years of those which you count." The 1,000 years of this earthly world is equivalent to 1 day with God in the upper divine system. Ayat 5 of Surah As-Sajda says, "He arranges each matter from the heaven to the earth. Then it will ascend to Him in a day, the extent of which is 1,000 years of those which you count on the earth. Ayat 4 of Surah Al-Miraj says, you just imagine the clarity of Quran. Ayat 4 of Surah Al-Miraj says, the angels and the spirit will ascend to him during a day, the extent of which is 50,000 years. Now, what is difference between 1,000 years and 50,000 years? I will just explain. So, dear friends, note the relativity of time with the change of levels in the space. Surah Al-Hajj and Surah As-Sajda refer to lower echelons of the space, says earthly heaven. Solar system or Earth's atmosphere, where several cycling systems like electromagnetic, photosynthesis, hydro, carbon cycles ensure sustainability of life on the earth. A day at this level, earthly heaven, a day at this level is equated to 1,000 years of this world time. Whereas Surah Al-Ma'arij, pardon, I have pronounced this surah's name in the previous context as well wrongly. The correct pronunciation is Surah Al-Ma'arij, refers to higher echelons of the space or universe. A day of this level, which is higher one, is equated to 50,000 years of this world. This is the relativity of time. Thus, these ayat revealed relativity of time at different levels of space in a very precise and simplistic way, keeping in view the intellectual level of the people at that time. However, these verses give vision to investigate wonders of the universe to broaden human intellectual base. So, with this we conclude our discussion under lecture number 233. Please do subscribe Idea Foundation YouTube channel to watch videos of previous lectures and join the noble cause. You may also visit website www.ideafoundation.com.pk to access the list of previous lectures. Thank you friends for participation. Allah Hafiz.